How are you, Danny?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying summertime. I mean, it's the best period away from winter, and excited to chat about the technology that went into this new Arbor snowboard and hear what's going on in the life of Pat Morehava and Eddie too.
What are you doing these days? I know that you are coaching with the U.S. team, riding a bunch. What's winter looking like? What's summer looking like?
Yeah, I'm currently a novice surfer. I've been trying to get barreled. That hasn't happened. So I'm still working on that. That's going to take a couple more years. But when I do, you'll see it. It's like one of those memes, like there will be signs. Like literally, my snowboard graphic will completely change to a surfboard probably as soon as I do achieve that. And yeah, just really looking forward to this winter. It's kind of an exciting one. I've been coaching with the U.S. snowboard team for about 4 years, and I'm taking a group, the halfpipe team, to the Olympics this year in Italy. So it's kind of cool to be able to work with them over the last like 3 years, getting ready for this period, and it's fun because I had such a long period of like competition snowboarding myself that like it's fun to watch other people, stand up to the pressure, buckle under pressure, like see, watch the tears and the fears and the cheers.
Well, that's incredible. It's got to be super cool though to just like you were saying, be a part of it and be a part of that next generation who are going back to Italy where you've got second and had your experience there and being able to kind of like coach them through that, like who better of a mentor. Um, yeah, let's talk about snowboards. It's been a while since you've had your name on a board, and the first thing that you do is you put a longboard on the base. Tell us about the graphic. Tell us about the idea, and just becoming a part of Arbor. What was the backstory?
Yeah, I mean, it was so cool because I'd kind of stepped away from, the snowboard scene and was doing like just college and trying to like figure out a life path, and like all of a sudden, kind of got sucked back into snowboarding through coaching. And, my girlfriend at the time who was like, hey, do you want to like move to Vail? We could do this. And I was like, yeah, that sounds really fun. So one thing kind of led to another and started like kind of getting really back in the snowboard scene, which was fun. And it just felt like I was kind of like getting to like actually apply this knowledge I learned for 20 plus years, like in snowboarding. And so that was really rewarding. And then after I posted like a couple banger clips, freaking Pat reaches out to me and he's like, hey man, like I'm doing this thing with Kindle. We want to send you some boards to try out. Like, no pressure, but would you be down? So I got a couple of the Kindle boards, that Arbor sent me and was like, this is really fun. Like just cruising the mountain and everything. And then we started talking more, and you were like, hey, would you be down to like, do a graphic or this be a thing, with getting to meet Matt Patty. And so we started kind of like throwing out some ideas. And then I just like kind of like came to the table with like the most hammer idea, at least I thought, where I was like, I'm looking at the Arbor website, and I know I'm familiar with Arbor, like living in Mammoth so long and their heritage. So I was kind of like basically just printed out a couple sheets of the products they made, and I just like took out my scissors and like a tape gun, and I like drew this really wonky like snowboard shape. It kind of looked more like an egg or like boobs or something, and then I pasted the longboard graphic of the actual longboard like right on it. I was like, this is what I think would be so cool because it's Arbor, right? There's like the longboard skate culture and surf culture. And then like in snowboarding, we've had quite a few like similar graphics to the Noah Slasnick that are like real serious and like skatey. And I was like, let's have fun with like this skate vibe. And I remember Matt being like, well, like I'm gonna really have to like pass this by. And even Eddie's like, I'm gonna have to talk to the skate guys. Like they may not like this idea. And it wasn't like poking fun, but I just thought it was like a really cool concept for a base graphic. And, they approved it. And then like we just kind of went full steam ahead, which was so cool. And then kind of crushed the design side. And then Matt and Pat and Eddie were like, dude, we should do this like for real. Like we want to like put you on the team. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. And then they tell me these other guys they're going to put on the team. I'm like, wait, so you're going to announce me with Red Gerard and Big Air Jer? And you're like, yeah, like this is great. And I'm like, well, like obviously I'm not going to be in the payday of these guys and I don't want to overshadow them. So it's kind of like really like, are you sure? So it was just so cool to get to like team up with this new, new wave for Arbor of like this new generation of like what is like the ultimate best, you know, competition now of Red, the ultimate like, high end backcountry snowboarder, Big Air Jer, and then, having bringing me involved to it, which is like, the legacy of what is a lot of competition style snowboarding. So
Yeah. I have one last question, or actually not a last question, but I have one other question about coaching. And that is that I've heard from people that are kind of in your orbit when you're in the coaching environment. I've heard a couple different takes, but I've heard some people say things like, yeah, Danny's like as naturally as good at coaching as he ever was at snowboarding, which I think is like really interesting. But then I've also heard people say, like, yeah, Danny approaches coaching like with the same passion and intensity that he would approach snowboarding with at times, like when he's working with the right athlete. My question to you is like, what do you think that is that draws you to that? Like, is there still an element of competition that you like really enjoy a lot that you want to just be around or nurture to hand to somebody else? Or what is it that pulls you in that enables you to go in with like either the same passion or the same natural talent for coaching as you have with snowboarding?
yeah, I think it's like a couple parts. Like for me, I've always been, a real competitor in the sense of like I loved competing and kind of like, and it kind of started as like a young skate rat, right? Where you're like in the ramp setting where everyone's just kind of like trying to one up each other. And that's kind of where like the competition mindset really started for me as like, okay, I want to be like someone getting the hoots and hollers and slapping the deck on the ground. And then I started, competing and getting into like skate and snowboard comps. And then like, there was a drive to just like do the best I could. And especially like in the heat of the moment was really special for me. So taking like a lot of that from into coaching has really been like helpful to be like in the moment to kind of like know where, well, one, where there's improvements to be made, because it's not always just like, okay, add a 180 over here, add this. Like for me, it was like different run plans, like, setting up a new run, and maybe it's switching a couple tricks around that like is more attractive and fresh to the judging panel that really helped for me. So I kind of bring that in to like different athletes and really like challenge them to keep their run fresh, which kind of can keep training sessions a little bit more fun, competing over and over again more fun, and then really getting to like read them, like know where those small improvements or tweaks and kind of bringing like a little bit more style into what is so technical can make a huge impact. So I think like just remembering there's fun about it, and from my competition background, it's like I want to be good at it. Like I care about it. I care about snowboarding. You learn these athletes, you care about them. So I guess there's a drive to be also one of the best coaches in the game.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Danny. That was awesome.
Thanks, Pat, Eddie, Java, and Arbor. Big shout out to all the crew at home, Arbor fam, and stay tuned for this winter. We're going to have an amazing freaking show for you guys.